The brightest new world of my heart. Sometimes you sprout from the place where you are most broken. At the moment when you are most destroyed, you are born again and start breathing for the new day. There is no exit. I think the moment you say you are lost, I think light comes. Time hurts, baby wants. Dreams are broken. But that's exactly when life says, let's start from scratch. It was a time when I resigned many years ago, lost everything including my dreams, and was tested by storms. In order not to see a pair of tired and resentful eyes when I look in the mirror. In those days, when I made a pact with myself every day, I was doing what I had been doing since my childhood. I was turning my head to the sky and dreaming of being there for a long time, as someone with the element of air. One of those days, when I was in such a mood, a manager I knew who ran a private nursery had contacted me and asked if I could give English lessons to these 5 and 6 years old chicks in her nursery. All resources and documents were ready, but they had left stranded when their teachers, who had let them down, left the school. I started working without any idea what this experience, which would only take me half a day, would add to my life. While I was with the smartest young people of Ankara, and even Turkey in the institution where I resigned, those little eyes I saw here were shining even more interestingly. I had never seen so many bright lanterns together before. In the first days, I was dazzled and had started to believe that now I was so sure that this place was a red candy apple handed to me to heal me. Every time I opened the door of the cute little classroom, I was greeted with screams. Every day I was hugged by 2,000 Smurfs who were trying to climb on my legs, my arms, my head. Right after I locked the door of my house, everything was like flying to the land of fairy tales with them, like Alice running to the land of wonder, like getting away as soon as possible and joining this dream world. I was preparing for a work that I was not accustomed to before. The day before, I was finding the most interesting and easy to memorize English song videos for them on my computer. I was memorizing it and enjoying it more the next day. I was researching whatever the subject of the day was in the source books, printing them as much as they were available and trying to make their work easier with extra documents. As time went by, we had got so used to each other. Some of them persistently were not wanting to attend the main classes after my class and were causing problems for the principal. I loved them very much too, perhaps because it was the feeling I needed the most in those days. The tiny hearts of each of them were like an answer to why I needed to regain the sense of trust I had lost towards life. The warm hands of each of them were like a hope as to why I should overcome my anger towards what I had experienced. The soft hair of each of them was like a medicine for why I should give up the hard habits I had. Their perspective on events, their expressions, and their body language were the things that made me think about the concept of innocence the most in those days. They were honest, they were flexible, they were fun, they were intelligent. and they were non-judgmental. Most of all, they were loving. In other words, there were many things that we adults sacrifice before we grow up. There was an Ahmed in my class. He was different, until the light of his big black eyes enticed the gem on him. He was fascinating me every day. I was saying there is something interesting about this child. He was walking differently. He was sitting differently. He was thinking differently. His self-confidence was like that of a 25 years old, not a 5 years old. The name Ahmed was also a special name for me. It was a name I dreamed of giving as a first name if I had a son many years ago. At the first parent-teacher meeting, I felt the need to take his mother aside and have a long talk. If Ahmed is put to an intelligence test with the help of an expert, I had shared that it could have a very positive impact on your future educational life. The careful and caring mother had come a few days later to report the test result. I wasn't drunk. He was gifted. What excited me the most was his curiosity about English, his strong pronunciation, and his very good use of sounds. I was fascinated by the closeness of a precious gem that works differently to sounds, words, and another language. In a snowy February in Ankara, the semester had ended, and it was decided to close the nursery due to economic reasons. I had come to the end of this tale, which I will never forget in my life, and I had to say goodbye to my chicks, with whom I could only heal my wounds in a short time. I'm grateful to each of them for teaching me that beauty exists, even in such ugliness, for making me test the most beautiful forms of unconditional and pure love, for increasing my belief in the new worlds called the next generation, and above all for being able to do the most sacred profession in the world with the most angelic hearts. Stay with love and be those who shine the new world with your shine.